Hey everyone, welcome back. I'm Michael, and today we have a shorter story, but it's definitely a very controversial one that I am sure will leave many of you enraged. Make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoy the video, and let's begin. The post was made about 4 years ago in the relationship advice subreddit by a user named Husband Father Brother. The post is titled, "I cheated with my brother's girlfriend and married her 10 years ago. How can we reconcile?" This is long. When I was in my mid-20s, my younger brother Ezra, 19, went away to an out-of-state school. I had just finished my stay at my university, so I went back home to find an apartment close to my family. Ezra's girlfriend Melanie, 19, stayed behind to study at a local college. She and I would hang out once in a while. I didn't realize at first that I was playing with fire by doing this. Melanie and I got closer. We would go to the movies, grab a bite, and hang out at family dinners. Ezra couldn't be there, but my dad would extend invites to Melanie, whom Ezra dated throughout high school. They planned to be married after school, so she was family. My dad also remarried, so we were trying to build new bonds with his new wife and her kids, one of which was close in age to Melanie. I guess things began to get messy with my dad's new wife, who commented that I looked better with Melanie. I had a stable job and was ready to start my life and settle down. Melanie was offended at first, but as we grew closer, she also began to make similar comments. Ezra would come down for summer or some weekends, during which they would still sleep together and function like a couple. When he would leave, she would be with me. Things got physical one night after I reacted jealously at her and Ezra snuggling up. It was the turning point that I'd been waiting for. I know now I was wrong, and I'm not proud of any of this. My dad and his wife were at odds over our relationship. My dad was furious with me and demanded we stop. Melanie was disinvited from family dinners, and my dad reached out to my mom to inform her about us. My dad's wife had an opposite opinion. I have another sibling named Aaron who suspected something was off. I have 6 siblings in total, all brothers. Things came to a head when Aaron took Ezra aside during a visit to let him know what he learned from who knows where. Aaron has always had it out for me, or so I believed, but that's a story for another day. But what happened after set my whole life in motion in the direction it's been for the last decade. It's been just over 10 years since Ezra discovered what we had done and set the whole family on fire. He had a go at our parents and my dad's wife for her involvement and their silence, and then he just left. It took a while, maybe about 8 months, but he left and I have yet ever to see him again. During those 8 months, I was not a kind person. After Melanie was embarrassed and mistreated by Ezra for cheating, I immediately took her in and we became official. Our family disapproved for a while, but eventually they came around. She fell pregnant and I proposed. Her parents and I learned of this and agreed that it was best for the baby if we married. They agreed to pay for everything. It was a humble wedding, but my family pulled through for me and showed up. During this time, Aaron continued to lecture my parents about their involvement in our relationship and Ezra's abandonment. I understand that he was in pain and needed them. I did too. I was becoming a new father and husband. I was looking into buying my first home, starting my first big job, and planning a wedding. I didn't expect Ezra to suck it up, but they are my parents too. My parents were preoccupied with us, so much so that Ezra moved a few towns over and we didn't notice until a month or so. We used to see him around town where he worked, but then we stopped seeing him. I reached out only to find his number had changed. Aaron was no help, just criticisms and warnings about Ezra's well-being. No kind words for me, Melanie, or our child though. I lost 2 brothers in actuality. Eventually, our wedding grew closer and the invitations were sent out. There was no response from Ezra and Aaron, which I expected, so I asked my mom to verify with them. I understood if the answer was no. What we found was they were completely gone. Aaron had a longtime girlfriend who declined the invite to our wedding and clammed up about where my brothers went. The aunt who would often echo Aaron's comments and skipped out on my wedding let us know that they were safe and that we needed to move on. So that was that. It's sad to say I haven't seen them in 10 years. My parents were obviously distraught and regretful. It put a huge damper on our wedding and the birth of my child. We thought about combining their names as a middle name for my son, but ultimately decided no. They would likely never meet my kid, so no need to confuse him. However, watching my parents break down whenever the family would get together took its toll. Anyone who knew where they were did not say. It remains a gray cloud over our lives to this day. I thought we had moved on by the time that Mel and I had another kid. My parents seemed happy to be with me and my remaining brothers. They saw Mel and I were serious about our relationship, which was an ideal match. Soon enough, though, my mom decided to voice her regrets to Melanie and me personally. When she first found out about our relationship, she was staunchly against us, but came around when Mel fell pregnant. Now, she remains that she made a mistake when she lost 2 sons. Her relationship with Mel has suffered greatly. My dad's family is much more welcoming to Mel and considers her one of their own. My dad does miss his sons, but also loves his grandkids. He was content with this for a long time until my mom went ahead and located Aaron and Ezra. It hurt to feel that she would prefer to have held on to them and lose me and my sons in the process. She found out that they were both married, Aaron to his longtime girlfriend who eventually moved away years ago, and Ezra to an unknown woman. Both have a good number of children, more than I have. My mother got some therapy, reached out to my brothers, and has made contact with Ezra. Aaron declined to reconcile, so she's been in contact with him for a year, even going as far as taking my youngest brothers with her to spend Christmas with Ezra and his family. I have seen pictures of his sons and daughters and his wife too. I thought I would keep a lot of this from my dad, but I come from a gossipy family, so I showed him what I found on my mom's Facebook before they could. My dad was overcome again as if the wound was freshly exposed again. He felt he missed a lot and couldn't bear it. He looked at the images for a long time and eventually called my mom, and they spoke for hours. So I sit here with fractured relationships everywhere. My mom does not approve of me and my family. Mel and my mom do not speak. My dad is heartbroken. Ezra and Aaron took off and built a life with their own families. From pictures, it seems they are still close, and though Aaron does not speak to our mother, his wife and kids do. The rest of my siblings are young men, just coming into their own. I love them so much, but I can't relate to them the way I relate to my brothers, who are closer in age. It's been years since I've had to deal with what my actions have caused. My wife is beginning to get insecure about my feelings towards her. She wonders if I regret her and the kids. I want to fix this. I failed to fix it before, but I must do it now. I don't know how to repair it though. How can I make amends for a marriage and life I don't regret? TLDR, I cheated with and married my brother's girlfriend. My 2 brothers rebelled and became estranged after we announced our engagement. It's been 10 years and my parents were still hurt that they cut off the whole family. My mom has contacted 1 brother and my dad is now aware of how much he's missed out on. I want to fix this. OP is insane if he thinks there's any chance that he can fix his relationship with his brothers. As a person in general, OP is honestly a scumbag. I am still in shock that he thought it was okay to sleep with another man's partner, let alone his own brother's GF. Then there's the likelihood that if someone cheated on their partner for you, it's likely that they'll cheat on you with someone else at some point as well. I don't blame the brothers at all for wanting to cut all ties with their old family, and massive respect to Aaron for following Ezra. The drama didn't have anything to do with him directly, but he knew what was right and what was wrong. OP never provided an update after the original post, and that's probably because he got quite a bit of hate, understandably so. But he did respond to quite a few comments. For example, one comment from user Frisky Frito said, "If it walks like a duck, acts like a duck, and quacks like a duck." To this, OP said, "A psychologist, you are not. A psychiatrist, you are not. A doctor, you are not. If you are willing to diagnose me legitimately, have the credentials to back it up, and put your name on the line to do it, then I will consider your assumption. But you do not have anything to back you up, just a sore spot that's causing you to react to this post emotionally and without reason or logic." Frito then said, "Seems like I struck a nerve. Honestly, your generation is oversensitive. Also, we have a saying where I am from. Things typically leave the same way they came. Say Mel for me." OP told this user that their comment made no sense, and Frito said, "Dude, the fact that you keep replying instead of disengaging should tell you something about your state of mind. Also, I am sorry about the last sentence. I should not have assumed that you had an IQ higher than room temperature. If you need me to explain it, feel free to ask. Stop being a boomer and own up to your shit, because honestly, you are super defensive for someone looking for forgiveness." Another user named Dayangini said, "If you don't deserve it, why are you seeking it? You need to live with the consequences of your own actions." OP responded with, I am living with the consequences of my actions. It's funny to me that the pattern here is, if you don't deserve, why are you seeking it? Yet you guys keep accusing me of making this about me. They deserve my apology. They deserve to know that I am aware of what I did wrong. They deserve a lot from me. I'm not seeking their forgiveness. I'm trying to give them something they are owed and that I failed to do right the time before. You're also hung up on the idea that I'm centering myself here, yet you can't even see that they are owed my genuine acknowledgement and apology. Diangini replied and said, it's because you titled the post, How Can We Reconcile? Reconciliation is about forgiveness. You can never reconcile with them. What you can do is give them what they're owed and stop trying to make yourself out to not be a horrible person. What you did was disgusting and you do owe the family an apology and much more. But you are not owed any form of reconciliation from them and you do not deserve reconciliation. OP did reply again, but it was basically him just not understanding that there is no chance of reconciling. I find it amazing that he didn't foresee that there were going to be major consequences down the line if he continued to pursue a relationship with his brother's GF. Under that same comment thread I just went over, a user named The Last Basilope said this. Here's the thing, you decided they deserve an apology. They decided years ago that they want nothing from you. Not an apology, not your presence, nothing. They do not care what you know or realize or feel. They moved on, built new lives, and probably don't even think about you most of the time. You pushing in with an apology is only going to reopen old wounds for them and disrupt the lives they have spent 10 years building. You are so hung up on giving them an apology that you don't recognize that you are the only one who wants it. The best way you could let them know that you really know how much you f***ed up is to honor their decision to not have you in their lives at all. They want to be left alone. Honor that.